What's up, guys? If you are an angry Michigan fan showing up to watch this episode, welcome. We've got a treat for you. So we're going to talk instant reaction to the initial college football playoff rankings. And we're going to do a couple of new segments, things that won't age well on Monday.
I love that.
That's going to be a ton of fun.
Yep.
And then we're going to make some bold predictions at this halfway point of the football season. So are you ready?
Let's do it, man.
Let's do it! All right, guys, welcome back to the Fit Fat Dad podcast, where it's two dads who are kind of fit, kind of fat, at any point, all things dad.
All things dad and football now.
Hey, baby.
Since it's football season, that fourth F.
Yeah, man.
Third F. Fit, fat,
so
dad.
we've been kind of deep. We went really deep. So we're going to lighten the mood here and switch back to something that's pretty comfortable for us. All right, so the first four, we're out.
Yep.
And then, so we've got Ohio State at number 1.
Yeah.
We've got Georgia at number 2.
That's right.
Michigan at number 3, and Florida State at number 4.
Yeah.
What is your initial gut reaction to the first ranking?
I mean, that wasn't unexpected. I think there's nothing crazy about that. Undefeated teams. There was no big surprise, which is being the first college football playoff. I think, in my opinion, the committee is going to let it all play out on the field. And so, that was no surprise.
And it's all going to sort itself out
exactly.
in the end. So let's go with unpopular overreactions here. All right, so what is Sam Houston State, Marshall, App State, Georgia Southern, Buffalo, South Alabama, Coastal Carolina, Utah State, FAU, Miami of Ohio, New Mexico, Temple all have in common?
I don't know.
They all have a tougher schedule than Michigan. Let me keep going. What does Tulane, Louisiana Tech, Louisiana Monroe, Kent State, Western Michigan, UTSA, Nevada, Navy, San Diego State, Boise, Troy, Charlotte, Central Michigan, Rice, San Jose State, what do they have in common?
They all have a tougher schedule than Michigan.
And Georgia.
No.
Swear to you.
And Georgia.
Swear to you. All right, so let's go some...
hold on, Georgia's backloaded. So I will say that. They're backloaded.
But the rankings are based on where you're at today.
Today. Okay, that's fair.
Correct.
Okay,
right. And so that to our Michigan fans that are angry showing up, good news for you is we talked about it all being settled. They have the toughest remaining schedule in the country.
Who do they have besides Ohio State?
So they have Ohio State and then I believe Penn State, if we're checking it out. So
wah on Penn State.
Yeah. Well, it is what it is, brother. So anyways, if you look at, and we're looking at the ESPN Football Power Index, and then if you look at strength of schedule, Michigan has the 112th ranked out of 133 FBS teams.
Wow.
Strength of schedule. And then if you look at Georgia, they have the 99th ranked strength of schedule.
That's crazy.
So when I look at the top four, Michigan at this point, if you look at and you don't consider anything that happened last year, and you solely look at it this year, I mean, if you were to take any top team and do the blind schedule test and say you played ECU, UNLV, Bowling Green, Rutgers, Nebraska, Minnesota, Indiana, Michigan State.
I mean, I think there's a couple of teams that are ranked back into the top 25 that have a tougher schedule than Michigan. Is what the point I'm trying to make. Right? Maybe.
Yeah. I mean, if you look at Georgia, because everybody's going to say, "Well, hold up, all right, SEC bias kids over there." I mean, they're not any better.
And I'm going to say, we'll say Georgia as well. I mean, I'm all in on that.
So the hardest team that Georgia's gone in and played a ranked team, Kentucky.
Yeah.
And they were 20th at the time. And then, I mean, there's some could say, obviously, formidable opponents with Florida. But you look at Tennessee Martin, Ball State, South Carolina having one of the worst years.
Yeah.
There's no reason that they shouldn't have. UAB, and then a squeaker to Auburn, who's not back yet.
No.
They're better.
Yeah.
Don't underestimate Auburn, but do you think the committee got it right putting those in the top 4? Do you think they're weighing too much historical? I understand the whole thing is you can't take the top dog out of the top, until somebody beats them. But if they're supposed to look at it for what it is up until the 8 games played this year, I don't see those cats in the top 4. They're big brands. Don't get me wrong, but it's really tough to say.
Yes, I agree. I don't think there is enough weight put on strength of schedule, in my opinion. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, there's not, and I think the committee's proven that.
Well, that was the whole reason it was established.
Yeah.
I don't understand how you have an 8-0 Washington team who beat Oregon.
And
then you have a Florida State team who has played it's when they played them, they were ranked. So when they played LSU, they were a top 5 team.
Correct.
And I know you got to look at where they're at now, but the LSU's still coming on strong.
Yeah. I mean, best offense in the country.
Duke is trailed off a little bit, but that was a top 15 team that they played.
Yep.
And they don't have a weak schedule. I mean, it's when you look at, and I just want to make sure I have my stats correct because all you listeners out there will come after me.
That's right.
So do your research. Shaking my head. But, I mean, you look at Florida State, 49th ranked strength of schedule. It's middle of the road. It's not 112th. To me,
it's not Georgia and Michigan.
To me, did they get it right with Ohio State being number 1?
I think so.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, they're good. Ohio State's good.
And they've played a tough schedule. So it's winning at Notre Dame on the road and then beating Penn State.
Yeah.
And then I agree that they got that right. And if you look at their strength of schedule, 15th.
Yeah.
Absolutely deserves to be there.
100%.
I think FSU deserves to be in that number 2 slot.
Agreed. And then Georgia, and then I would think Georgia or Washington.
Washington.
I'll probably hit Washington at 3, and then Georgia, Michigan, 4 or 5, something right there.
Flop them out.
Yeah, they're the last 5 undefeated teams. So I think top 5's right. The order's wrong.
Yeah. All right. So I'm going with a very, very unpopular reaction here. Does Alabama deserve to be in the top 4?
Based on what are we basing it on? Eye test? What are we basing it on?
Well, if you look at the College Football Power Index.
Yeah, we're number 3, right?
Which is
3 or 4.
A lot of data. Way too much data. But you can go check it out yourself. They list Bama at number 3.
Okay, that's what I looked at it the other day.
Right. And so if you look at the chances to make the playoffs, I think they're listed at 3 in that combined strength of schedule, resume, and all of that. But if you look at the chances to make the playoffs, they're picked at 5th, but they're ahead of Oklahoma, Oregon, Texas, who Alabama lost to, right? But if you pick the chances to make the national championship and win the national championship, you get splitting hairs really quickly once you get down to that 3rd spot.
So do I think they deserve it right now? And I'm an Alabama fan. Throw this out there right now. By the brand of ball that they're playing right now, no. What I've watched all year, no. Okay, I don't. I think they've squeaked by. I think they haven't dominated opponents like they should have and like they have done in the past to deserve to be in that conversation. Here's the caveat. If they come out and play ball like they played in the second half of that Tennessee game, they're one of the best teams in the country. And I think they proved that it's there. And it's, but I mean, you could talk to any team. Oh, yeah, if they play their best. But I've heard a lot of, people talking about, well, Tennessee laid an egg and all that. Well, I just think Bama just freaking turned it on, and made halftime adjustments and got them coached up, and they they played good ball. We were watching the game together and we're like, who in the heck is this? We hadn't seen a complete half like that all year long.
Yeah. So if you look at just power of resume, according to ESPN, which is different than the FPI, the top 4 is Ohio State, number 1, FSU, number 2, Washington, number 3. I don't think that shocks anybody.
No, we just said that.
Alabama at number 4, Ole Miss at number 5, Texas at number 6.
Yeah. Michigan's not even in there.
So I think the resume doesn't account for the eye test.
Yeah.
So when I look at Alabama, here's what I say again, and we'll disclaim the Alabama. I think Alabama does not deserve to be in the top 4 at this point, but they may deserve to be in from 6. I tell you what, they could be in the top 4, but they could also be at 15.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah.
So they're the most inconsistent team. Yeah. They are picking up speed. I think we'll truly see the test when they play LSU. Who knows? But Missouri could be where Alabama's at.
Oh, absolutely. 100%.
I mean, I know that they should have never lost that game to LSU.
No.
They should be undefeated.
Yeah, going into Georgia. This would be a top 10 matchup if they were undefeated.
That's going to be a big game.
Yep.
All right, so let's keep moving things along. Let's go to our newest segment that morning. Things that won't age well on Monday. And I love this because we can be as bold as we want to.
Yeah.
We have an out. I told you. It wouldn't age well on Monday.
It wouldn't age well. Yep.
All right, so here's some things that won't age well on Monday. Georgia loses to Missouri by 14 points.
Ooh. That's pretty good. That's doable. I think that's possible. That's possible.
So I think ESPN lists Georgia with a 19% chance to win out.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I think that's good. Okay. Are you ready? Are we talking about these?
Yeah, we're going to talk about it. We'll talk about it for a little bit.
I don't like Georgia's QB. I know he's like a taller Stetson Bennett, and I know that's just their brand of football. But I'm like, God, I don't think he hadn't played anybody. He hadn't played a legit D that's going to put his freaking face mask in the dirt.
Yeah.
He hasn't really been hit all year.
So their schedule, which if you looked at this at the beginning of the year, you may say, yeah, you knew the Tennessee game could be tight. But Mizzou at 12, Ole Miss number 10, Tennessee number 17, and these could change by the time that they play. That's a gauntlet. That is a tough.
Is this Georgia or Alabama?
This is Georgia.
Oh, wow, okay.
This is Georgia. And Ole Miss, Kiffin's got those boys playing as well as any team in the country. So
that's their remaining schedule?
Yeah.
Yeah, oh yeah, they're so backloaded. I agree.
Yeah, that's.
I don't know if they run that gauntlet, honestly, the way Georgia's playing right now.
If they run that gauntlet, then they still have to play in the SEC championship. Yeah. So it's getting to the point where, and we'll do this in our bold prediction, I won't spoil it. So, do you agree UGA loses to Mizzou by 14 at home?
Where is it?
I think they play them. They play them at home. It's a home game.
It's a home game. Ooh. Yeah. If it was away, I'd be like, okay, I think it's pretty big. That's possible. Since it's a home game, I say Missouri beats Georgia by 6.
What was it? 2 years ago or was it last year? When was it? I think they played at Mizzou and it was a struggle win.
That was last year.
They had to come back.
That was last year.
Yeah. So that's Missouri didn't. They kept receipts. They're typically all right. Let's keep moving on. Dabo is back. And Clemson beats Notre Dame.
No,
you're not buying that.
No, yeah. I think Dabo's done year for Dabo this year.
You think it's a done? Did you see Dabo get after that caller?
Yes, that was great.
Holy smokes,
it was great. That's the most fire I've seen Dabo in a long time, man.
I've never heard Dabo cuss.
I haven't. He's known for not cussing. Actually,
that was kind of his jam. Yeah. So it's. I'm trying to look up here. Vegas yesterday, when I looked at it, had Notre Dame at a 3-point, and I'm trying to see where the game's at. I think it's at Clemson, so that's probably why Vegas has it as a 3. Notre Dame's been playing really well. They've come on strong.
Yeah,
but
still Notre Dame.
I'm hesitant to get into the Notre Dame.
You can't get into Notre Dame hype. Come on now.
Yeah, but so it's 11 a.m. kickoff.
Mm-hmm.
It's at Clemson. They're feeling the heat there in Clemson. But you're not buying that one?
No, not buying that one.
Okay, I'm going to buy it.
All right.
I'm going to buy it. All right, Jacksonville State knocks off South Carolina.
If they can contain Spencer Rattler, yes. I'll buy that one. That's my thing, because Jacksonville State looks awful besides Rattler.
You mean South Carolina looks awful, not Jacksonville State.
I'm sorry, yes.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Yeah. All you Gamecocks out there. It's a Gamecock versus Gamecock matchup.
Yeah.
Jacksonville State comes in at 7-2. South Carolina 2-6. They've already packed their bags. Spencer Rattler's looking elsewhere. He's already prepared for the draft. Another 11 a.m. kickoff.
It's possible.
South Carolina 16.
If they don't, it's just a pure out athlete out depth them game.
Yeah, I think they knock them off.
Yeah.
I mean,
I agree.
Jacksonville State has always found a way. They beat Ole Miss. They beat Florida State a couple of years ago. Yeah. Now they are an FBS team. They're going in there. They're gonna take them down. All right, here's another one. Down goes the Big 12 chances of a college football playoff as Oklahoma gets knocked out of the playoff by Oak State in a rivalry game, and Texas loses to Kansas State without Quinn Ewers.
I think the Kansas State one. I'll buy the Kansas State one. I don't know about the Oklahoma State one, but I will definitely buy Kansas State over Texas. Wait, where's that game at?
I think the Texas game is at home.
As hyped as Arch Manning has been, right, coming in, how is he not starting? Is he not as good as they expected him to be? Or are they just playing the long game with him? What's your thoughts on that? That's a big.
Well, you got Quinn Ewers.
Yeah. Well, I'm talking about Quinn Ewers being out. Yeah. Why is he not?
Well, you're at game 8.
Yeah.
And you don't want to waste a year. I mean,
he gets 4.
And he's going to leave early. I mean,
yeah.
We're going to say he gets a red shirt. He's going to leave early. But I think it's Sark's offense. He wants to be able. He wants to come out and be high powered. So if you look at Sark's offense, a lot of people that aren't very intimately ingrained in college football don't understand that the quarterback has many options. And there's reads and there's RPOs and there's things and it's not here's your first read, here's your second read, which I feel like Alabama's quarterback's kind of doing that right now. You have 2 options, you make a play.
Yeah.
But it's the more complicated.
That's right.
And the more that he can learn and then he plays naturally instead of having to think about it, then his talents really shine. And I don't think you want to put a kid in there that doesn't fully understand the offense.
That's fair.
Where he feels comfortable running it naturally and then he gets a sour taste. I think they want him to come out as well-oiled of a machine as possible. And who knows? Quinn Ewers could come back. This injury, it seems to be like round 2, but who knows? That's going to be that's a good problem to have.
Yeah.
So we'll keep moving on. But I'm not buying that Texas loses.
Ooh, you're not.
I'm not buying. I think that they get a struggle win against Kansas State. I do think that Oklahoma State goes in there and knocks off.
Didn't they say this is the last Bedlam?
It is, at least on schedule. And
that's right, yeah, because Oklahoma's coming to the SEC.
So isn't it? So let's see here.
Ooh, okay.
I've got a next level stat for you. Oklahoma State ranked 22nd. I knew I remembered this. They got whipped at home, their own home, by South Alabama, 33-7 back in early September. South Alabama laid the smack down, 33-7. So.
Yeah, I'm not buying that one. But it's the last Bedlam. I mean,
But they also beat Kansas, who beat OU.
Yeah.
I'm buying it.
Yeah, you're buying it. All right.
I'm buying it. So far, I've bought every one of these. All right. Washington gets beat by USC and is out of the playoff.
Done. I'll buy that one.
You'll buy that one?
Yep.
I'm not. That's the only one I'm not going to buy.
See, here's why I'm buying this one. Are you ready?
Why?
I think Caleb Williams is I think he's going to step up. I think this is the game where, because he's been ho-hum, and I feel like they're at home, they have a top 5 team, and I think Caleb Williams it's going to be his Heisman moment, even though he's not going to win the Heisman this year, but it's going to be his Heisman moment.
Yeah, I'm not buying it because Caleb Williams can't play defense.
Well, neither can Washington's. I mean, it's going to be a 48, 42, 40. It's going to be a
maybe they've got
100 points.
They've got a better defense than frickin'
USC.
USC has zero defense.
Kind of like LSU.
And all you need is 1 to 2 stops, and then
that's it.
Well, LSU's thinking they have a defense with their latest 62-0 win over Army, but come on, man! Like the Army offense, they're still running the option.
That was a stat padding game, wasn't it?
It was. All right, let's move on to bold predictions.
Okay.
All right, I got one. Here's one. The SEC won't have a team in the last college football playoff ranking. They're out.
Doesn't happen.
You don't think it happens?
Mm-mm.
All right, give me some data to back that up.
Well, I mean, I don't have my phone in front of me.
Now here we go.
Statistician.
Now you don't have to. All right, well, give me your thoughts here.
Mine is all about my gut.
It's all gut?
It's all gut right here.
Research.
Right? It's research.
Shaking my head.
Right. Okay. For all you guys that want to call him out, the statistician is over there. He has his phone in front of him. Mine is back there being used as a camera.
That's why we're a couple of fit fat dads.
That's right.
You Google it.
That's right.
Come on. Thanks for listening to us.
I have another job. I can't spend all day researching this.
I've got a podcast, so it makes me an expert.
That's right. Have you seen that? We're getting off topic. Have you seen the commercial about that? It's fantastic. All right. Anyways, I think if Alabama runs the table and beats Georgia, I gut feeling with what we talked about earlier, they're in. Georgia runs the table, undefeated, wins the SEC championship, they're in. So I don't think you can put either a no-loss SEC championship or even a one-loss SEC champion out of the top four, in my opinion. And I also feel like that, Michigan, Ohio State, they got to play each other. So I think Ohio State's going to drum them, right? So throw Michigan out. I also feel like Washington will lose at some point the rest of the season. So your Pac-12 is out. Okay, then you got Florida State. They may run the table. I mean, I don't think they have anybody big left on the schedule, do they?
Florida State.
Well, you got Florida State, Florida.
Well, you have the SEC or the ACC championship.
You got the ACC championships, and who's that going to be? Statistician, look it up.
I don't even want to get involved in the ACC conversation.
Yeah. It's a mess. Short end of the stick. No, SEC gets in.
Yeah, I think we're looking at a very. So let me rephrase this. If ESPN and the networks weren't concerned about money, right? Yeah, I think you have a chance where the SEC does not have a representative. Alabama's so inconsistent. They could go drop one to LSU this week, then LSU would be the representative from the West, unless they drop another one. Yep. Even though Ole Miss would be sitting there as probably the best team in the SEC, even though they beat them head to head. That one's going to be no. So Ole Miss would win the West. That's right. That's going to be. It'll be a 3-way tie. How does that work out?
Oh, Paul Feinbaum. Somebody asked this.
Yeah,
it went like it's head to head, which they all tie because they all beat each other, and then it's like it goes way on down. So I don't know the.
So I don't know the tiebreaker,
but he discussed it for. Yeah.
So tune in if you want actually experts. But I find it hard to believe that Bama's going to win out, even though they're playing well. They're so inconsistent, and the big moment's going to happen.
Which one are they going to drop?
They could drop LSU. Alabama could win every game or freaking lose every game. They could get beat by Kentucky.
Yeah.
They could get beat by.
Which one do you feel like they're going to drop?
The one that makes me the most nervous is Kentucky. Going up to Kentucky at Kentucky, overlooking them. I think it'll probably be an 11 a.m. kickoff.
Yeah.
That one's a pretty tough one. Just knowing how. I think they could, but they could also drop Auburn. They could drop all of them.
Yeah, because it's at Auburn.
Yeah. So every game this week every game this year I've had my antacid. And then you look at we already talked about the gauntlet that UGA has to face.
Yeah.
And then if they make it through that gauntlet and they're beat up and they're without Brock Bowers, they've got to play in the SEC championship game. If they make it through that gauntlet and win the SEC, yeah, I mean, just give them the participation championship trophy. But you said something interesting. You think Ohio State is going to absolutely smoke Michigan?
Oh, drum them.
You do?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Smoke them.
So if you made it this far, Michigan fans, I absolutely do not. I think it's the other way around.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, I do.
Why?
Just look at...
But they haven't played anybody.
They haven't played anybody, but... You play who's on your schedule.
Yeah, I agree.
And their defense has been just absolutely crushing it. But they haven't played anybody. I got it.
So is Ohio State's. And they're playing people.
But I think that Michigan's got a good streak going here, right? What are they up to now? 3, 2?
Over Ohio State?
Yeah.
Okay, well, you're looking it up. So here's the deal. Michigan hasn't played anybody. I think that the controversy that's going on with Spygate, Michigan, all of that. And then I've watched Ohio State. They look good, man. And their defense is just, their defense is, man, they're good.
Yeah, let's see. The current win streak is 2, Michigan. So this is going to make it 3.
Where's the ball game?
Why are you asking me all these questions? Like I freaking...
Because you have the phone in front of you.
Pay attention to the Big Ten. Let's see here.
I have to. My father-in-law's a huge Ohio State fan.
It is at Michigan.
Ooh, okay. Maybe that changes it a little bit.
Oh, now you're going to back up on your...
No, I'm not. Maybe instead of getting thumped, it's a tight ball game, but I think Ohio State pulls it out.
Yeah, no, I don't think so.
What's our next bold prediction? Moving on.
No bold prediction here. All right. And we've already... you guys are going to be like, you're totally contradicting yourselves. But, all right, we already talked about the SEC. But if they do get one in, and let's say that it's Bama, and Bama wins the national championship, is Saban retiring?
Based on things he's said about this team, because I think this is one of the biggest team challenges he has had in a long time. He loves this team because it's not full of superstars. And he's said that without saying it. If he wins it, I do think he walks within the next 2 years. Maybe not this year. I'd give him one more, maybe. But I think he's gone.
That wasn't the question. The question, he's out.
I know, but I'm giving myself some grace here, G.
There's no things that won't age well on Monday. Yeah, I don't think we have to worry about it because I don't think Alabama's going to win the national championship.
Okay, but if they do,
I think he does. I think he hangs it up, and now he's a all-time co-star with Pat McAfee every day. That's my bold prediction.
I love it.
All right.
Is he going to take his shirt off and jump on the table on College Game Day set?
I doubt it. Maybe he'll give McAfee some wisdom and guidance and maturity.
I love it.
So, all right, guys, we appreciate it. Would love to hear all your thoughts. I'm
Please
sure you
do.
completely disagree. We welcome it. Hey, whatever. Hey,
tell us we don't know anything.
This one we're kind of fat, kind of fit dads just talking football. That's what we do.
Make sure you subscribe.
Subscribe, like, you do it.
Share.
Whatever. Appreciate you. We are out.